Hey everybody, it's Peter, and this is the 2025 Kawasaki Brute Force 450, and this is pretty fun because it's been really upgraded from the 300, and the 300 was fun, but not 4x4. This is, and the 300 could basically only do fun, where this one can do some work, so it's a big improvement on what they had, but I still think it keeps the character of that 300, and I think that's what everybody wants. So in this review, we're gonna go through this in detail. This is my first look video at this, so if you have questions that I don't get to, I'm filming here in front of Kawasaki Way. Kawasaki Way is a test track here at Canada's #1 volume Kawasaki dealer, Jim Gilbert's Power Sports, and I have complete access to the entire product line. This is the first one out of the box, first one built up for me, but there'll be more and more and more. So if you have questions about this or anything in this class, make sure you subscribe. Let me know in the comments the kinds of things you want to know, and we'll continue to make more and more videos to make sure you get all the information you want. So yeah, do me a favor. I know everybody says hit the subscribe button, but go ahead, hit the subscribe button, leave a positive comment, give it a like. Let's get going with this review. So if you've been paying attention to Kawasaki's Brute Force lineup, you'll know that the Brute Force 750, their V-twin model, has been updated for the 2025 model year, or 2024 model year actually, and it has the headlight up here. It's got a little more, square look, and this has a lot of the same styling as that 750. But what this does is gives you a little bit more compact version, a little bit less powerful, but also less expensive version, but it still allows you to work. We're gonna talk about the hitch on the back, we're gonna talk about some other things, but really the playfulness is what matters in this unit, and that's what still is retained. Now, one thing that a lot of people are asking about is the Eliminator 500 came out, the Ninja 500 and Z or Z 500 came out all this year, and a lot of people want to know if this 450 is the same engine as that, because we all know that those motorcycle engines that are labeled as 500 are actually 450. Well, it's not. That is a 451cc engine in those motorcycles. This is a 446cc, I believe. We'll check if, I'll put it on screen if I'm incorrect. But anyways, it's a different engine than those motorcycles. So you have an ATV specific engine in this. And again, all of this thing, to me, looks like a really good, nice update, nice quality, nice feature kind of unit. So we're gonna keep going. It's starting to rain here, but I'm gonna sit in the wet seat and we're gonna keep talking about this. So when I talk about the playfulness of a unit like this and the 300, the big thing I'm talking about is the general size, the ability to really move this thing around with your body. Some of these bigger ATVs are so heavy and they have such stiff suspension that you really can't affect what goes on with your body weight, but this one still has all of that. And that's a real key piece, because that 300 was known to just be a lightweight, fun thing to zip around and have a good time on. Where it lacked was capability. So right now we're gonna show you the controls here. You've got your 4x4, you've got some nicer updates here, and overall the position, although this is a little larger than the 300, it will fit larger adults than the 300, it still retains that real kind of body positioning maneuverability that you had in the 300. So before we look at the dash itself, I'm going to zoom into some of these controls here from the side here, and you can see as I probably move it out of frame here, this is a non-power steering unit, so I can actually move it fairly simply outside of the realm here. Now what's in front of all those controls right now is your parking brake, so you can sort of pull that off and turn it off there. It's nice to have a big obvious parking brake that you can work with your gloves or whatever you've got on. You've got your headlights, so you've got sort of daytime running lights, high beams and low beams right there. You've got your start switch there, kill switch there, the override switch there. So everything kind of simple, all durable type controls sitting right there. And then it's the far side where you really have something that you would have wanted in the 300 that you now have in this model. So we'll zoom in a little bit closer here. You can see the 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive button and your locker there. So nice to have those controls right there on the throttle hand with your throttle lever there. So simple stuff, but again, everything you need to get out in the woods, to get out on the farm, to get wherever you're gonna go and do your thing. All right, let's take a look at the dash. All right, it is starting to rain heavier, so we're gonna kind of go as far as we can until it stops raining and keep going through here. But let's take a look at the dash. So I'm sitting on the unit looking wide angle right now. I'm gonna put my foot on the brake, gonna turn the key to the on position. You're gonna see the dash light up. Now again, this is gonna be harder to see simply because we've got some raindrops on there, but you have got gear indicator. You can see the locker, the 4-wheel drive. You've got a tachometer in there, fuel gauge down low, clock, and of course the speedometer there. As we start it up here, not too loud, like a nice, proper bassy kind of sound to it. Doesn't sound super wimpy or anything like that, so I think you're gonna be happy with that. The mode buttons here, what do we got? Adjust button there and a mode button over here. So we'll cycle through the dash in a different video here. It's getting pretty wet as we're going through. But again, all the stuff you need. And again, because all this is sitting there on your headlight type unit, your headlight, you have a headlight in the front, headlight there, and then this one can be aimed. So as you're steering around, you're having that kind of aimed away. So let's turn the full headlight system on. We'll step around here and take a look at the front. While we take a look at the front, you can kind of see that center headlight. Again, they're not going to show up as bright in person, but you can see it's sort of a little higher up there. As we come down here, you can see those lights kind of light up nicely. Now, what's interesting about the front here is you do have an area here that can be taken out, and you could put a winch in there. So that little plastic panel comes out, you've got a winch ready to go. So again, this is more capable of working. Coming around the backside here, we're going to take a look at, there's the sort of the side there, but the backside, actually, you know what, we'll turn it off just because we're going to sit right in front of the exhaust and be a little easier to chat. Let me just go fully off there. All right, so come back here, you can see the taillights there as well. And then you have a hitch. Now this tows 1,050 pounds, so over 1,000 pounds towing capacity on this fairly small little unit. You've got the independent suspension there, exhaust right down the center. So everything's kind of tucked in nicely. Again, we're not trying to tell you this is anything super, super heavy duty, but it is sort of cheap and cheerful. And I say cheap in the sense that it's not as expensive as the bigger ones, but it can still do the work that you want it to do while also having a whole lot of fun. And that's really, like I said, the key to this. Now you do have racks front and rear, sort of this standard racks, no plastic containers or plastic shelving on this, but you can of course put all the things you want on there. I'm rushing through this because I'm getting rained on more than it looks like in the video. You can see you've got some tie downs here, so you can tie your stuff down. 150 pounds is the rear rack right there, and the front rack, same idea, same style. You've got the 75 pounds capability there. Low, high, neutral, and reverse, which are listed here, if we can sort of see there on the plastic there. This is the white color. There is a bluish gray. That's literally the name of the color, a bluish gray as well. That's out there. And you do have a 12-volt port over here, so you can access extra power. And the nice little touch here is you have the cup holder, but there's little rubber inserts in here, so it actually really will hold a cup even while you're out on the trail, which is kind of nice to have. All right, let's keep going. All right, the sun's come out so you can see some of the rain that's fallen. But what we've got here on the front wheel here is kind of what I like. You've got nothing fancy here, so no aluminum rims or anything like that. And I think that's kind of what people want. People don't want to have to pay extra in this more budget type category. But sizing wise, you've got 24 by 8 by 12 and 24 by 10 by 12. So different rear, or a little bit wider rear wheels than front wheels. But again, basic rims, everything's just there enough to do what you want to do for work or for play. Now I know I sat on this earlier, but I want to show you as I wipe the rain from here. Oh man, that sort of freshly beaded rain on a new unit. That's gonna make me have a nice wet butt for when I go back inside. But as you sit on here, I wanna say I'm about 6 feet tall, proportional 6-footer, and there definitely is more space. It doesn't feel like the massive big units that you have, but it definitely feels like compact, but big enough to have a space. It doesn't feel like a kid's unit is what I'm saying. So overall seating position, very comfortable, very nice cushy seat, lots of space behind you here too. It is a single person thing, but you've got a lot of room to move around. And to me, that's kind of the benefit of that 450 class. Like I said, it's using your body weight to maintain and regain traction is a lot of the fun of riding these kinds of things. Instead of just using the power to get out of stuff, you're using some of the momentum, using some of your body weight as well. So you really do have that nice kind of flexibility of this, as well as being able to move back. I would move back right now, but it's pretty wet back there. So overall, I really like the sizing of this. I think that's an improvement on the 300. I like that it's now 4x4. I think that's the obvious, but let's wrap up with talking about who this is really for now compared to the old 300. So let's call it like it is. We're in a time right now where value matters. It doesn't just have to be less expensive for some of us, it also has to be more useful. And this is really that. It's less expensive than the 750, but in a lot of cases, it's more useful than, for sure, more useful than the 300. So having that towing capacity, having, the quality racks here, having the 4x4, allows this to be a good working unit. So whether you want to put a plow on the front, whether you want to, do some work around the farm or property or anything like that, you've got something that's lightweight enough to throw in the pickup truck easily and fit down there, strap down easily. It's lightweight enough for lighter people to ride and feel like they have some control, but it's big enough to allow a larger person to also feel like it's not an undersized kids type unit. So you really have something designed for fun and designed for work, which means you now have one unit that gets a little better fuel efficiency than the 750, that can still do the work around the yard and get you out on the trails and doing everything that you want to do. And I think that's where Kawasaki really hit the nail on the head in these times. Taking that 300, giving it more capability without sacrificing the fun. That's where this unit is really going to shine. So that's my initial review here in the rain. If you want to see more of this and anything in the class as well, we're going to go through a number of things in the class right now. If you want to see more of this, make sure you let me know. Again, I'm filming here at Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals, Jim Gilbert's Power Sports, #1 volume Kawasaki dealer in the country. This is the first one off the truck. They've got another one being built, the bluish gray color. That's literally the name of it, which is funny because I can't tell the difference between blues and grays very often. But that's being built. Both of these are being delivered. They've got a whole bunch more coming in. So let me know the things you want to know. I'll make sure I have it on video for you. We'll talk to you in the next one. Thanks for watching.